thing I wanted to talk about next was Finance Authority of Maine. I have a banking background originally.
Yep.
So in terms of my, I think, gateway towards Finance Authority of Maine, or FAME,
Yep.
was really in terms of maybe the business lending side and what you're seeing with, and then there's lots of programs there.
Yeah.
Could you just, for those that maybe are not aware of FAME or maybe just heard tangentially, can you just talk about the organization as a whole first?
Yep.
And then kind of your division within FAME and how that works.
Sure. So FAME is a quasi-state agency that serves Mainers in sort of two facets. We work at the intersection of like business and economic development and education access. So the goal is to create good paying jobs for Mainers across the board. And we do that in kind of two ways: by supporting Maine businesses through things like commercial loan insurance. And we have a number of state lending programs that we administer. And then on the education side, which I'm much more familiar with, we do, college access, right? That's my title. College access and financial education is our sort of wheelhouse. So we do, we really take into consideration FAFSA completion. We're doing all kinds of FAFSA events and really overviews of the financial aid process. Others that I work with have a similar background to me. We started in financial aid offices and landed at FAME. We administer some state level, so like the Maine State Grant Program, a few state level loans and education programs on that side. So it's kind of working to get people into college to then get them a good job, and then supporting Mainers who are currently working.
Cool. Can you, I think what I want to ask is more about your role, Maria, right?
Okay.
Okay, in terms of maybe from the consumer side here. So somebody says, hey, I have college questions. They would reach out to FAME at that point. And either maybe through maybe an organization, maybe a public school, or maybe just individually, would they reach out to somebody like yourself and say, hey, I have questions about accessing college. I don't even know where to begin. Like, how do you interact with that process? How do people get in contact with you? And then what happens?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it kind of happens in a number of ways. We are primarily outreach. So there's college access counselors and two others like me. We split the state kind of in thirds. And we travel to high schools and we do financial aid nights, we call them. So an overview of the financial aid process, typically for juniors, to sort of say, here's what you need to start thinking about. This is kind of an overview. And we do that for students and parents, so generally in the evenings. And then in October, when it's financial aid season, when the FAFSA becomes available, we do in-person help sessions all over the state. So we're kind of interacting with schools all over the state anyway. We also are at college fairs and career fairs and those kinds of things. But in terms of, if someone's going to our website, so famemaine.com, and they can get our email addresses or education@famemaine.com, and they can sort of say, I need help. And we reach out and we say, how can we help? And we can cover everything from, helping out with some admissions level stuff. We're really focusing on the financial aspects, but certainly most of us have been in the business long enough to assist and to know where to refer students for that kind of help. But we do one-on-one meetings with students and families on everything from filing the FAFSA to student loan repayment, to looking for scholarships. So if somebody reaches out and they get through, triage through our education customer service, they might come to me or one of my colleagues, and we sort of say, what can we do? And there hasn't been a presentation or a situation where we can't help or we don't know somebody who can. So it's very hands-on. It's very high touch. I think we try to make sure that we answer all their questions, and sometimes that's just a one-off in one of those financial aid presentations, and sometimes it's one-to-one, and I have families that I meet with all the time, although we're now virtual, right, where we are. But, it's getting a coffee downtown and sitting in a coffee shop and making sure they've got their FAFSA done. So it looks different depending on what the needs of the student and family is.